Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Clayton, thank you for your forbearance and your willingness to step out in mid-career to do something like this. As a past public company CEO, I've had a personal relationship with the SEC, and I find it on balance to be a very supportive and constructive agency. So let's put that on the record. Having said that, I'm very concerned that the economic miracle of our lifetime, the last 70 years, in my humble opinion, has been based on innovation, capital formation, and the rule of law. And I think we outcompete everybody in the world with regard to the totality of what that means. I'm concerned that right now, in the last, since 2000, we had 8 years of Republican president and 8 years of Democratic president, so this is not a partisan question. But our number of IPOs, initial public offerings, has decreased somewhere between, well, it's gone from an average of around 450 in the decade before to somewhere under 200 now, close to 150. And that's a significant change over a long period of time. It seems to me systemic. It represents, I think, some things that are troubling with regard to our current financial situation. This is my second question I want to come back to your USA 10K. Can you speak to the fact that this reduction in public offering and also to the number of public companies we have today, what's causing that? What do you think the SEC can do to help us become more competitive with the rest of the world?
Yes, Senator, and I agree with you. I believe that a reduction in the number of public companies, which is a function of fewer companies becoming public, is a problem for our capital markets. The ability to invest in a public company is one of the most efficient ways for a Main Street investor to invest. The price is there. Our equity markets have become very efficient. You can invest, you can divest very, very easily. It's very important. Who chooses to become a public company? The management of the company. When they come to make that choice as to where they're going to raise capital or how they're going to incentivize their employees or other things that are important when you make these decisions, they look at the landscape now and very often say, it's just too burdensome. And I think that's a problem.
Do you think that puts us at a competitive disadvantage with other countries?
I think it puts us at a competitive disadvantage with other countries. I think and in particular, it puts us at a competitive disadvantage in terms of something uniquely American, the participation in the capital markets.
What I'm concerned about, the private markets are also a very efficient way to raise money, but it only allows a certain percentage of investors to play because the blocks of investment are so much larger, the risk per dollar of investment is so much greater, and frankly, it's not as liquid. People can't get in and out as quickly as they can in the public market. So I'm one that's paying attention to this as having run a public company and a private company. I'm very concerned about that imbalance right now, particularly with regard to global investment and the flow of capital around the world. In my time remaining, I have one quick question. You wrote an article, I think you co-wrote it, it's USA 10K. Yeah. In there, you make a lot of comments. One that really speaks to my heart, though, is one of the reasons I got involved in running for the Senate, is I'm concerned about our current financial situation. And you talk about complexity risk in the current state of regulatory affairs. Can you just speak to that briefly?
Here, I have a problem with regulations that are unnecessarily complex, a real problem with it, because it leads to a lot of things. One is, it's very costly to address them up front. The second is, it creates loopholes. No one wants loopholes. Complexity allows for the, and third, it creates an opportunity for gotcha. That's not what we meant. We meant this. My view on regulation is, to the extent practicable, and you can't do this in all cases, but to the extent practicable, reducing complexity, clarity are very important. If people know the rules, they can operate more efficiently.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, the number one thing that I'm looking for in this nomination is somebody who can help the SEC create and maintain a level playing field. I think with your background, I think you have all the skills and personal integrity to do just that. And I applaud you again for being willing to step out and take on this responsibility. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Warner.
Thank you.